I welcome everyone to this discussion session. Today we have with us six esteemed panelists, Rajashri Royda and Amit Ghoshda from the United Kingdom, Ram Kinkar Thakurda from Norway, Arpita Ghoshma from Germany, Chittaranjan Berada from Netherlands, and Vikash Berada from Denmark. Our panelists will have discussion on some very important topics, ranging from challenges in our daily lives to global issues. Some of these issues are quite complex, and discussions about them sometimes go in circles without a solution. In this session, our focus will be on the solution to these problems as advised by Shashi Thakur based on his own experience and practical implementation. As we have limited time, I would like to request all our panelists to be precise and to the point. Thank again the audience for joining us today. Feel free to raise questions and give comments as the discussion goes on. Let us quickly move towards our first question. Depression, anxiety, and stress affects many in our society. It is an issue that is not just confined to underdeveloped and developing countries, but also to the most developed nations. World Health Organization estimates that from 2005 to 2015, the number of people suffering from depression has increased by at least 18%. I would like to ask our panelists about their understanding of these issues of depression, stress, and anxiety. And more importantly, what Shashi Thakur has mentioned about these issues and how having a living ideal can help.
Jai Guru Abhigda. Jai Guru to all my co-panelists and audiences present here. This is one of the most interesting and challenging aspects of our daily life, which we all are experiencing. Why do human beings experience stress in life? Few of the primary causes of stress is grief, loneliness, frustration, and fear. It's a fear of losing something. It can be losing of money, position, title, relationship, status, growth, happiness, and many more. Then why bring stress? It brings stress because we don't want to lose things we are attached to. Does that mean we will detach from them? No, I don't think so. Rather, we should get attached to a far superior ideal in life. Ideal who is more meaningful than many other attachments we have. And the living embodiment of that idea is our Guru. Attachments to our Guru helps us overcome fear. And if we become fearless, then we become distressful. Feel more peace. Everyone has different emotions at different times. If I'm happy for something, then someone else is not happy for the same reason. If I'm getting a job and for the same opportunity, if someone else is not getting the job, then he's sad. But at the same time, I'm happy. It's all about me to understand and reflect how can I carry a healthy and peaceful life. Thakur has very intimate and intense relationship of life himself. He said, do never die, nor cause death, but death to death. He said, you don't have to die and don't cause for anyone's death. Resist anything, then resist death to death. His philosophy in all about life, it's all about expansion and existence of soul. It's all about transformations of soul. If you want to be free from anxiety, then make yourself free from grief. Thakur has mentioned in Sabdanusaran, the more the mind overwhelmed by being attached to a cause of grief, the more will fear enter within and weaken the heart. If you wish to be saved, have no fear, have no weakness. This Thakur has also mentioned, give up what is against existence. Have faith in Sadguru, you shall be saved. You have to know who you are. What is your source? How you come to this beautiful world? We all have to understand, agree, and accept the eternal truth. We are the son of Supreme Father. We are the blessed children who have always been protected and taken care by our Supreme Father. Then why to get depressed? So the only mantra of avoiding depression is faith. To have strong belief within yourself, be bold, strong enough to believe and say loud, that you are the Son of Creator, the Supreme Father. That is our love, Lord. Faith can bring expansion and responsiveness. If you have faith, all reasons support you. So have strong faith on you and your Sadguru. That would help for balancing all these emotions from our life. Jai Guru Abhikta.
Jai Guru Bikasda. Thank you for very nicely explaining the causes of stress, anxiety, and grief and how to resolve them. You mentioned in your speech that adhering to the living ideal is the best solution to all these problems. I think we all would benefit if one of our panelists can further elaborate how exactly the process of adhering to a living ideal helps in maintaining a peaceful state of mind. Perhaps Amida can say a few words.
Jai Guru. See, across the globe, we can see quite a lot of people are accomplishing significant material success in their life. Then again, they are struggling with dissatisfaction, stress, and slowly heading towards depression and anxiety, etc. So if we sincerely analyze the cause, we can identify the fundamental reasons of these mental ailments is absence of transparency or clarity. Due to lack of clarity in thought process, future possibilities, losing possessions, security, etc., develops these emotional complications. Now, in order to find out a pragmatic solution of how we can eliminate these negative feelings of emotions from our life and enjoy a continual, progressive, and fulfilling life, first of all, we need to understand and identify the cause of it, and then find out the proven mechanism to tackle the source and apply to overcome it. Now, therefore, we need to see how living ideal can help us to challenge these problems, to overcome it, and what the demonstrated techniques are. Be aware that it is a method of prevention, not a crisis management process. So the practices are directed by Sri Thakur eliminates the cause from the source of the problem. So that crisis cannot develop at all. Here, the main key is that practices to be followed on a regular basis. As we clean our body regularly to keep ourselves fresh and healthy, we need to clean our mind and earth also regularly. Now, question comes, how to do this and maintain the continuity? See, we all know or experienced in our life that love, affection, and respect for something are the key reasons to develop an inner urge to act on anything. So these are the main driving force or motivation to serve for self, family, and others. However, all these driving elements are not constant. They're variable and always changing with time because our circumstances and priorities are often changing. Then question comes, how can we keep us motivated and effective at all the times? Here comes the Sri Thakur's divine principle. I will mention a couple of them here as an example. First, Sri Thakur said that repetition of name or holy mantra makes a man keen, and meditation or dhyan makes him calm and receptive. Now, when I do meditation, it trains my mind, and chanting holy name makes me sharper. So, practicing this process every morning and evening, I am gradually improving the tranquility of my emotions, mind getting stronger and controlling. It is getting controlled and composed. Then my mind governs by my consciousness, which increases my perception of the surroundings, which enable me to tackle all these glitches. All this malfunctioning of my mind starts from my own complexes or desires, and they are very dominating in nature. So, through following this process, they gets conditioned and adjusted gradually. Now, second is the cause. The cause is lack of clarity. What is this? What is it? It is ignorance. Sisi Thakur has said about that ignorance creates anxiety for man and wisdom gives man peace. Ignorance is the cause of grief and knowledge is bliss. So first of all, I have to remove my ignorance through acquiring knowledge about my true identity, purpose of my life, and most importantly, my goal for every aspect of life. That gives me clarity for any state of mind, which eventually help me to tackle my any unforeseen situations. And I become stress-free to achieve most desired happiness and peace in my life. So what I can conclude here is, so we need to have to discern material attachment and attach ourselves with source. What does it mean? It means awareness of our inner being to be enhanced. We have immense potential, as Thakur has said, which are latent within. And when we connect ourselves with the reverent Supreme Being and follow his path, all these negative feelings and emotions gradually get adjusted, like when sun rises, darkness disappears. Jai Guru.
Thank you, Amida. Thank you. You gave a very apt and clear response. At this point, I would like to hear the point of view of our audience, and I can see a raised hand by Prashantoda. Prashanta, please, go ahead.
Yes, it was a wonderful answer. Actually, that triggered me one question actually in my mind. Though I am a devotee of Sisi Thakur, so the question is like that. In current world, we have so many experts like doctors, specialists, psychiatrists, or we have even vast ocean of information. If we just click on Google, we get a lot of solutions to overcome stress, anxiety, and depressions. So my question is like, why should we just attach to one ideal for getting this answer to overcome these depressions or something like that?
So Prashantoda has asked, what is the need for initiation and adhering to a living ideal when we can consult psychiatrists and other experts in the area? I would like to request Ramda if he can unmute and take up this question.
Jai Guru, this is a very important question, but at the same time, one of the most practical questions. Thank you, Prashant, for asking this. Let me put a few counter questions. How many of us take a new year resolution that will work on our fitness or achieve certain goal? Alarmingly, a vast majority of people fail to live by their resolution. Most of these people who fail to, for them, there is no lack of facility or expertise. Everything is available. So you see the access to experts or the facility is not the prime factor. Similarly, when we look at the example of, for example, any university classes, every student have access to the same facility, same experts, yet the result is not same for all. If we look at all these examples, what we understand, there must be something different. It is not about the facility of expertise. And I'm not saying that they are not important. They are very important. But that is just secondary. One must have the drive, the motivation to excel or achieve. We have an example, we know, like Thomas Edison, who invented light bulb. He did that after several failures. What kept driving him? What was his motivation? That's exactly the case. One must have the right attitude and the drive. And if we have that, knowledge and expertise follows. Now the important question is, can this attitude be, and maybe this drive, acquired? Sisi Thakur says one thing: love creates will creates activity. At the core of everything lies the love. When we look at a mother, she loves children for the sake of children, she can go to any extent to do something for the children. Similarly, if we want to have that attitude, the drive, we must find a love center, and most importantly, we must adhere to our love center. To fulfill our love center, motivation and drive will naturally follow. Thakur says, follow without hesitation him who is the possessor of love. You shall surely achieve your good. And this is true for everything and every situation. And the second most important quality is inconsistency and lack of balance. That is killing us most times. Maybe in our thoughts and actions, we may be good at some point, but when the situation is not good, conducive, then we lose everything, the whole balance. This lack of stability is nothing, but it's caused by the passion. If we are driven by those passion. Shashi Thakur says, passion perverts existential upholdment and making one unbalanced. So I'm not saying that passion is bad. Without passion, we as a human being cannot even act. So we need all those passions. We certainly need them. All we need is adjustment of those passions so that instead of being driven by those passions, we are able to utilize them for good. And Shashi Thakur has said in one of his messages that unadjusted complexes are ever unprincipled and unbalanced, so liable to be agitated and depressed with unwise and incongruous display. Only active adherence to living ideal who have mastered over these complexes can make us free from the clutches of these complexes and help us lead towards a balanced and progressive life. So in conclusion, I would like to say that there is nothing wrong in consulting experts. We always do that. We must do that. Go through the knowledge, blogs, everything is important. Learning from everybody or anybody. But the key to achievement is love and adjustment of complexes by finding the love center. And that is what we have found in Shashi Thakur. Shashi Thakur, I will conclude with one message from Satyanarayana. Shashi Thakur says, though you have gained such power that you can move the sun and the moon from their courses, can break the earth into pieces, or make all people wealthy, but if you have no love in your heart, you have achieved nothing. Jai Guru.
Jai Guru Ramda, your response was exactly on the point, and it was really good, very very nice. We received a question in our main satsang session. I would like to ask this question now. So the question is, as a non-satsangi, what are the characteristics of a disciple of Thakur I would notice or would influence me to follow Thakur? What kind of behavioral changes I would foresee down the line? And I would like to also combine a related question and ask both of them together to our panelists. And the second question is, how human life encompasses a multitude of dimensional facets. Each individual treads a unique path and has their own aspirations depending upon their nature and circumstance. Furthermore, each person faces their own individual challenges and obstacles. How can Shashi Thakur have a set of principles that can help each and everyone in the face of such a vast variety? So, yeah, I would like to open the platform to the panelists if anyone would like to take these questions.
Jai Guru Abhikta. I think this is really a very nice question that is asked from our audience people, and also the second question which you asked regarding the human life that encompasses the multi-dimensional life. I will try to really combine these two questions and mention the answers what Shashi Thakur has really mentioned regarding this. So regarding the first question, like what kind of characteristics you will really find in a satsangi who follows really Thakur, and that would influence a person to know. And the second question, life has got multidimensional, and how does Thakur really say, how can you really restore all your problems together? So basically, I will start with what exactly is life. How do we really define this life? And it's really great that we're having problems, or else it will really get bored if you do not have problems. And you should somehow really appreciate these problems. Shashi Thakur has said, life is, of course, a many-sided, multidimensional, complex life, and it does not admit of a fragmentary solution. So basically, nothing that contributes to human existence and enhancement should be somehow ignored. And it cannot be ignored without jeopardizing the interest of our life as a whole. So some aspects of life that restores balance, pause, and leads to dynamic solutions or evolution is, according to our living Lord, it's a keynote and the quittance of our real work that we generally do. So basically, our existence shall be meaningful only when we try to uphold, sustain, and nurture the all round harmonious life and growth of the individual along with those to the environment. So basically, you mentioned like what kind of characteristics would you really find as a non-satsangi in a satsangi person? Thakur has mentioned very basic principles which generally a satsangi person follows, and that is the thing which makes them a different person. Very, very simple points he has mentioned. Just 5 points. Yajan, Ishtrivati, Swasthani, and Sadachar. These words really look very heavy, but in practice, they are not really heavy. Yajan really means knowing yourself first, self-regulations. Yajan would be inspiring others with the living ideal, letting others really know what you have achieved by holding his hands. Ishtrivati would be submitting yourself to this creator of the world. I hope everyone here really believes there is a creator of this world. Swasthini is the path to good life, to prosperity. Give up your desires for yourself, for your own good. And Sadachar would be holistic health. Keeping yourself clean is important, but keeping your heart clean is even more important. So these would be very 5 principles which we generally really follow in our daily lives, but we do not realize it in our life. From the day we start realizing this, from the day we start keeping it as our habit, that is the day you will know that there is a difference in me. That is the thing we would be understanding or we would foresee down the line when we start following or holding the living Lord's or living idol's hand. Sister Thakur has really said, how do you really judge what is good? Do we really understand what is good and what is not good? There is nothing called as bad, but it is called as less good. He has really said, what gathers for existential welfare with meaningful adjustment, exalting being into becoming is good. So rather than judging good with our instincts, if we try to learn and to understand what exactly is good, this would show us how should we practice this small 5 principles into our daily life, which would lead to our enhancement, which would enlighten our day that we have achieved this morning or we have to work for this day. We have to really focus to one source. Anyhow, this whole of this world, every individual being is different. But if in case these individual beings have their concentration or their all demands into one particular source, we will have like thoughts, we will have ideas, we will have adventurous living, but there will be no clashes. If there are no clashes, there won't be any kinds of problems. So once you know that I have got a teacher to teach me, how am I supposed to start to learn? How am I supposed to start to say A for apple? Or else we wouldn't have never understood how to start reading, how to start writing if a teacher wouldn't have been there. Similarly, if we get a teacher who has led his whole life and he has given up in a paper like an answers for each kinds of questions, how to live your life, won't we really gather these papers and live our life in a similar manner where we have all solutions for all kinds of problems? Doesn't matter which individual faces which kind of a problem. So in our examinations, if my teacher comes and tells me, okay, these are the questions you're supposed to answer. Next moment she comes and tells, okay, these are the answers of these questions which I have given you. Won't the exam already become very easy for me? Similar thing happens here. Our living idol, he is a living idol who has lived with his whole of his life, of every individual being in this world, the way they are, their states they are. He has written all those things in just few lines. If we get these answers in our life, which would solve all kinds of problems, won't we really gather these questions up and solve our problems? So solving the problems and encouraging the problems in a better manner would be just 2 things, at least what I understand. Have the dedication to one source and use this source as your energy. Believe in this source, because if we do not believe, we will not be able to move forward. Sister Thakur has always said, believe and you shall master the world within. So this is what we want to master. The world within is the peace of mind, the happiness that we want to win. Ultimately, we all are struggling to have only one goal, that is to have happiness in our life. So I hope this would be my points and would try to answer the questions that you have asked. Joy Guru.
Thank you, Arpitama. You very well answered both of the questions. As a follow-up question, I would like to ask: we all have our aspirations and goals, depending upon our specific individual walks in life. I wonder if we may explore a bit more in detail what Shishi Thakur has said about achieving success. Would any of our panelists like to take this question?
Yeah, Jai Guru.
Jai Guru Chitra.
Yeah, it was very nice to hear, our previous speaker, Arpitama, the diversity in life and how to strike a balance. But since you ask also a different angle of this, another question, what are the principles of success? So I would like to just go a little bit deeper into that. Let's try to understand what do we mean by success. Sometimes we say that by success we mean accomplish a goal or an objective. Yeah. So in today's world, everyone is behind to achieve success or aspiring to get success in life. There is no doubt. But I see success in two different perspectives. From material perspective, it could be name, fame, money, you name it. And from spiritual perspective, it is Bhagavad Prapti or escaping the cycle of birth and death. In both the cases, I believe you have to be a disciple, meaning you have to follow a set of discipline. If you are a materialistic person, then you always look a ideal person, whether it could be a CEO or anybody. In spiritual also, we always look for a guru. So to do that, what are the things we need to do? I'm going to talk about few ingredients, for that. The first one is, attachment or adherence to living ideal. Thakur says, surrender to the ideal, continue to move on, smashing and managing the sufferings that comes forth as obstacle, and you will be crowned with success. Now coming to the second ingredient, which I call it activity, or we can say the karma. Yeah. So there is a very nice proverb I would like to remind. We say that doing is the mother of getting. So when doing is in accordance with the desire, success appears. In similar line, Thakur says in Satyanusaran, to get whatever it might be, one must learn how to get it and do that exactly. He says, do you think that is there anything more foolish than to become impatient to get without doing? So he reiterate or re-emphasize that doing is the mother of getting. So you cannot escape the karma. You have to do the karma, your karma. Now, I would also like to bring another point, what I call it perseverance. It's a very jargon word we hear, but how to achieve that? Life is a journey which is full of ups and downs, highs and lows, happiness and distress, loss and gain, victory and defeat. But Thakur says, if neither joy nor sorrow hinders your movement, you shall without doubt reach your goal. Similar line also in Bhagavad Gita, what I find, it is always prescribed to develop the Vairagya Bhava, that is to detach from the happiness or sorrow, loss or gain. So that is something we have to develop to gain this, to deal this uncertainty. The last ingredient I would like to focus is the empowering mind to overcome failure. Many times, fear of failure is the root cause of not getting success. We think that we want to get success, but we do not want to face failure. And because many people cannot imagine success without failure, Thakur says, failure need not be weakness. To fail to try is weakness. If despite all of your effort in anything, you fail to succeed, no harm, carry on. Do not stop. That unblemished effort must carry you towards the goal. So in summary, I would like to highlight the key concept like adherence to living ideal, karma, perseverance, and empowering mind could help one to achieve success in life in any field. So that's what I would like to put my thoughts.
Thank you, Chituda, for explaining some of the key ingredients of achieving success: attachment to the living ideal, activity, perseverance, and empowering mind. At this point, I would like to again ask the audience if they have any questions. I can see a raised hand by Shubhendu Mandalda. Shubhendu, please go ahead and ask your question or give the comment.
Yeah, Joy, good to all. So I have a question that I can understand that the general principles that somebody can advise that might be helpful for lot of people in the world. But if you see that every individual has a different perspective, and also that the individual is different in many ways, right? So question is that how it is helpful that when we are following, the people is following one individual or like a living ideal, it is helpful for all of the people, because every people is different. So that's my question here.
Thank you, Shubhendra. So Shubhendra has raised the question: how can Shashi Thakur fulfill each and every individual when each one of us is unique? And as we are running a bit out of time, I would like our panelists to combine this answer with another question. So the another question that we got in the chat box is: I have taken initiation. I can't think of my life without him, but unable to follow all his ideology with his principles. What and where my life takes me next? Okay. So I would like to request Ramda to take this question. These both questions.
Okay. So first of all, Subhendu's question, it's a very difficult but very logical question. This comes to everybody's mind, at different phases. So obviously, it is very hard to believe how one person, no matter who he or she may be, can fulfill the needs and aspirations of every individual. Understanding very well that no two individuals are same. Everybody has their own inherent distinctive traits. And we see in our life if we want to become a mathematician, we cannot think of going to anybody but someone who has mastered mathematics. Similarly, we want to learn music, we go to someone who has expertise in music. But here we are not talking about any expert. We are here talking about C.C. Thakur. Apparently, he seemed like just any other normal human being, like you, me, or somebody else. But then, how can we explain a 21-year-old boy writing the whole Satyanusaran, a book that was we read and it was in the earlier session also it was read, and that too overnight as a guidance to one of his friends. If you just go through that book, you will have idea of some understanding of who we are talking about. He never had a formal education in English literature, but if you go through some of his books, like the Messages, for example, 8 volumes, look at the quality of English. It will simply amaze you. How can somebody who has no formal education in English write such English? He was a medical doctor. How can a simple medical doctor talk about dharma, politics, law, administration, social life, science, philosophy, economics, education? We talk about anything. He just not mentioning, not talking about. He has given profound knowledge that's a matter of research for experts in these areas. So this is the ideal we are talking about. But we cannot explain him because our perception is so limited. We cannot comprehend his oceanic personality. And that's why one American, Ray Hauserman, used to associate with C.C. Thakur, have rightly described him in a book about him, describing C.C. Thakur as ocean in a teacup. Millions of people, through his Thakur's lifetime, millions of people from very highly intellectual to a simple so-called illiterate in the society, we can call, came to C.C. Thakur by his charm, magnetic pull, and got fulfilled in this area of expertise. Many used to call him God. So, one of the American devotees, his mother, he used to see that his son is always going to India. to meet to Sisi Thakur. She wanted to know, curious to know who this person is. And she came, and after coming, she was just interacting with people in the neighborhood, and people were calling God. And being a devout Christian, he does not know any other than Jesus Christ. She cannot believe it. She came to Thakur, asked, Thakur, people are calling you are God. Are you God? Thakur said, if somebody puts me very low, doesn't make me low. If somebody say very high about me, doesn't make me high either. I am as you see me. And the question that was raised, the exactly same question came to one scientist, we know, renowned scientist, K.P. Bhattacharya, who was working under C.V. Raman. His mother parents wanted them to visit Thakur. And he said, I am a scientist working with C.V. Raman. And he's somebody, talking about dharma. I cannot relate to him. Why should I go to him? So the same question that was raised, exactly same question came to his mind. But just to please his parents, K.P. Bhattacharya came to Sisi Thakur. Discussion started happening. And naturally, he was a scientist. He had lots of challenges working with the project. So suddenly, in the course of discussion, those topics started coming. And Thakur started answering. The problem, the complexity, the issues that he has that he could not resolve among experts, he found answer to all those in Thakur. So he knew Sisi Thakur as scientist. The point here I'm going to make is like, my personality, I cannot explain who Sisi Thakur was. Okay? And you have to, like Krishna Prasad Bhattacharya, he realized who Sisi Thakur was as a scientist. Somebody else realized differently. And that's why we call him fulfiller the best. So you will find your own realization, and the answer to your question. Just love him and follow him. That's what I would like to say here. I hope this answers this question.
Thank you, Ramda. You very clearly and concisely answered the question by Shubhendu, and also a little bit of the second question also. I guess we have very limited time remaining, and let's move to a couple of questions that we have received about current affairs. So the first question is, in most countries, including developed countries, the gap between the haves and have-nots is increasing. For example, in the United States, the difference in education and income is rising. Some are progressing with the advancement in technology and economy, while some others are lagging behind. There are issues like unemployment and also differences in the quality of employment. How should the structure of society be such that these issues go away? What has Sisi Thakur said about these things? I open the platform to our panelists to answer this question.
Jai Guru, I would like to take up this question. Yeah, that's true. It's a very relevant question. The social inequality is everywhere. But in my opinion, the social inequality occurs when the resources in a given society are distributed unevenly, or biased to socially defined categories of person, privileged group, what we call. I have read that research says the social inequality linked to economic inequality, usually described on the basis of unequal distribution of income or wealth. Thakur says he has given importance to avoiding this material imbalance, especially on the greediness of accumulating money, wealth, or temptation of making money as the primary objective of one's life. He says, hoax of money makes one a man of heartless intelligence. I think this greediness of accumulating money leads to corruption, and it has been now a problem in the DNA of society. It can only address by focusing on family culture. For example, when a member in family involves in corruption practices, then other can object him. But how is that possible in this materialistic mindset? It can be only possible when a family together follow a living ideal or a guru. So adherence to living ideal is quite important to change this cultural problem. We have to be compassionate. We have to be serviceable attitude. If you focus, to serve people meaningfully, then people are happy to pay you. So here, you are earning an income in a win-win situation. Thakur says, where service tones, silver comes as a tonic in return. Another way of correcting this wealthy inequality is by charity. In the holy book of Satyanusaran, Thakur says, be rich, no harm, but be humble and charitable. First of all, he clarifies and affirms that being rich is in itself not necessarily a bad thing from spiritual perspective. Many times we say that spiritual person means you cannot be rich. Secondly, he makes clear the risk of being rich is pride. So a rich person is more susceptible to pride. So he gives us a hint that you have to be humble. So that's why it is the pride that keeps one ignorant and maladjusted. Hence, Thakur teaches us why we need to be humble. So if we prompt charity or philanthropy activity, then wealth of distribution could be normalized to some extent, I believe. One of the byproduct of this economic inequality is poverty, and it need to be addressed thoughtfully. To combat poverty, upbringing of children with good culture and values is essential. And then education. Here, parents plays a critical role in providing good character to their children. The primary of education is to know one's existence and nurture it with progressive of knowledge and experiences. Education in true sense create adjustment and of intracellular substance through proper exercises. So intelligence and character also evolve in that process. Thakur says where education doesn't collaborate with character and conduct is merely an induction of knowledge without an all-round association. Since there are no all-round development, so that so-called knowledgeable men and women, those who are taking decision-making process, those who are decision body, sometimes they lost this holistic and sustainable thinking, which can result into the inequality in society by his or her action. So in summary, I would like to highlight key concepts like controlling this greediness, philanthropic activities, holistic thinking, along with, more importantly, adherence to living ideal would address to the problem of social inequality. Jai Guru.
Jai Guru Chittuda. That was a very good answer. I see a raised hand by Sudritima. Sudritima, please go ahead if you have any comments.
It was a really elaborate and expansive answer given by Chittuda about the current affairs and especially the gap, that big valley that we see in between the rich and poor and all the problems around that. So just one more point I would like to add here is that there is one message in Satyanusaran where Shri Thakur says that contraction is dejection and expansion is delight. So here, what he means to say that my understanding of me is right now limited, and mostly we can see this everywhere, that our concept of myself is limited to maybe myself, my spouse, and my kids. And that is why when I'm trying to run a race of life, then I always try to accumulate, gather things and facilitate only these limited people who are important to me as my sphere of expansion. And then due to that, we see that even a person, it is good to say that a person should be charitable if he is rich. But we see on contrary that more and more rich you become, then more and more there is an ambition to achieve more success or more richness. So the reason being that me is not expanded enough to include a bigger sphere around us. And where Shri Thakur says that once that me is expanded, it is but natural that we will not only try to mitigate the problems that come in our own life, but also the ones who come under that sphere of myself. And for that, it is very easy to say that, okay, if I go to some rich person and say, okay, you have lots of riches, you should be charitable. But he will say, why? That has to come as an understanding for himself from within. And that can only happen when we have a common love center. For example, I have a son, and if he is hungry and crying, I feel the pain as my own, and then I try to mitigate it by giving him food. But if some other child on the street is crying, I may not feel that cry and as my own pain, and then I do not take any steps to mitigate that. And there, the expansion is only up to my child, and that's why I try and take the steps. So this is one of the main reasons, I think, for the big valley that we see in the society. And also there was one question in the chat box, that the environmental disbalance. Again, over there, only I think about my own facilities. So if I'm using the resources, then I only see that, okay, I need these resources, I have to use them. I do not think about what is happening as a whole. And that is why this expansion of myself will help to address a lot of these issues. And just to give an example, here in Europe, since we have kind of been connected like a family, now suppose Chitto Bhai or Bikash Bhai has some problem, I feel that as my own and try to take steps as my own. And that I consider as expansion. I consider them as my own family, and then I think for them. If this happens with more people in the world, then I think that the world will be a different place altogether. So that's what I want to say. Enjoy.
Thank you, Sudritima. Rajshah, do you have any comments? You have a raised hand.
I'd like to add one small point here. The person who asked the question is quite a big question, or rather I would say this question is a very much macro level question. Like the globally the riches are becoming richer and poorer are becoming poorer. That's a very important question. In this context, I know it is a panel discussion, so I will not go too long. Just I'd like to mention one thing here. When Thakur was alive, then people asked him that what is the purpose of this spiritual pursuit, means or spiritual learning, why it is really important, because we define the success means the possess some achievement of materialistic possessions, then means maybe education, money, or other ambition, fulfilling other ambition. But Thakur told in a very small way, in one line, that purpose of spiritual learning or spiritual pursuit, whatever we'd like to say, to bring the self-control in our character and behavior. And that is the key thing. And this self-control says many things, and the context of self-control is always applicable in a different way. Like when a kid asks for more sweets, then we say that please don't eat more sweet because it could be bad for your teeth. Or similarly, when a teenager spends a lot of time on the digital game, then we ask them that don't spend that much time. You are really addicted to the digital world. So similarly, when a person who could be a big CEO or a country head, for him, the meaning of self-control could be many things. So this is only possible when we love the Supreme Father, and we can have some, Lord Suditama has already mentioned that when we love Thakur, then we can see that everything is created by him. So then we can love and take care of everyone, then universal brotherhood can be achieved. But again, this question is at a very macro level, but we as a satsangis, then next question could come, then what we can do if the CEO of British Petroleum is not caring of the people in Nigeria, then what we can do? Yes, I mean, we have very little at the moment. So that's why Thakur has told that spread this holy name and judge on. Once we can spread this name and then we can explain, then eventually the world will be a better place. Thank you.
Thank you, Rashida. It was a very good point that you added at the end. We have another current affairs question, and the question is, do you think this corona pandemic resulted primarily due to disbalance of environment and its relation with human being? If so, then as per Sri Thakur's ideology, what we could have done or should do to rectify such life-threatening challenge of human civilization? Rashida, would you like to again take this question?
Okay. Again, I would like to connect the answer of this question with the answer of what I have given just 2 minutes back. But again, the But to answer this question, there are two parts actually in this entire question. That if I believe that Corona came because of our fault or something, I'm hearing this term quite often here and there, but this will be too early to say, and I would say it could be too vague to make any comments, because still scientists are looking for the reason that how Corona came. But just on a on a hypothetical hypothetical paradigm, if we think that Corona came because of people's as there are a couple of stories are going in the market, the people are doing research on virology, and then eventually it has become kind of Frankenstein project, and then it has become backfire. If that happens, once we came to know, then probably obviously we can connect with that what I answered. Then people's the greed, and then people love for every individual will have to increase, and for that obviously we need to spread the holy name. That's the kind of very macro level. But being an individual at a very micro level, what we can do while this pandemic came, then as Thakur provided the guidance of hygiene principle, if we follow, then at least we can save ourselves from this pandemic. So that is a key thing, because see, there are many things are happening in the world. So I can say that in every moment of our life we have two circles. One is circle of influence, like where I can do, that could be my immediate environment or something like that. Another bigger circle is that is a circle of concern. I could be concerned about the how that an Amazon forest is just reducing. I have a concern of how the people in in Africa they are surviving. People in Congo they are fighting. I have lots of concern, but problem is that I won't be able to make much changes. But what I can do in my inner world, in my circle of influence, if I focus, then I will be able to make changes. And for that, Thakur has given this holy name, along with this, the principles of, as my other panelist, Arpita Ghosma has mentioned, the Jajan Jajan is to the Sastani Sadachar. If I can continue this, then obviously, in my own way, I will be able to bring positive changes. Because Thakur has told in Satyanusaran that if I become good, by seeing me, thousands will be good. But if I become bad, then there will be no one to sympathize me in my distress, because being bad, I made my environment bad. So to answer this question at a very holistic way, that obviously the first part is really my circle of concern. Circle of concern, I won't be able to make much changes at the moment. But to make ourselves, our journey in a smaller way, if we follow this Jajan Jajan is to the Sastani Sadachar, definitely I will be able to save myself as well as my surroundings. Thank you.
Thank you, Rashida. We are over time, so we will finish the discussion here. We had a very fruitful discussion. We discussed about how to manage stress, anxiety, and depression, how to lead our multifaceted lives successfully. And we also talked about several global issues like poverty, unemployment, income inequality, COVID. Was that adherence to the living ideal is a solution to our problems. And we are very fortunate to get the opportunity to have Sri Thakur, the fulfiller the best, as our living ideal. If we follow the 5 principles that Rajashida and Arpita Ma just mentioned, Jojan Jajan Ishtiviti, Swasthani Sadachar, we will surely make progress on this path of existence and growth. I thank everyone for joining us today.